It's a new day, and that means a brand new opportunity for gaming journalists to attack the very people they need in order to continue to have jobs. And Yasuke Simulator has been making waves on social media because of how much it trolls Ubisoft and how we think behind the scenes these developers are probably really ticked off over this. But now Journos over at Game Rant and The Gamer and Games Radar are putting out hit pieces saying that this looks like trash. Gamers have been whining and complaining about Shadows when that's going to be a superior game, and you guys are taking everything too personally. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, I think that this is hilarious. Ubisoft is getting completely and absolutely trolled by gamers right now for months and really years. We've been calling them out over Assassin's Creed Shadows with all of the inaccurate architecture and the reenactment groups banners that should not have been in this game, to the recent collectible statue where they had Yasuke and Noe leaning against a one-legged torii gate. Like, all of these things have painted a very negative picture surrounding this game, and it has been riddled with controversy after controversy, all Ubisoft's doing, may I add, and now gamers are responding with creating parodies and satires of this game, and Yasuke Simulator has blown up on social media. It says, of course, step into 1579 as Yasuke, the African samurai, and join Oda Nobunaga in his quest to unite Japan. Master precise katana combat, uncover secret gear, and unleash your ancestral power in this historically inspired, action-packed journey through feudal Japan. Now, if from the beginning Ubisoft didn't try to say that Assassin's Creed Shadows was historically accurate and they brought in a team of historians to make sure that it was good, this game would not face even a quarter of the backlash that it is at this point in time. But that's the direction they decided to go in, and when a company is going to say their game is historically accurate, we in turn are going to absolutely wreck them when it is not. And they are deciding that they're going to drop Yasuke Simulator on the same day as Assassin's Creed Shadows, March 20th, 2025, 3 weeks away. Now, obviously, I don't think that this game is going to be the size of Shadows by any mean, but it is getting quite a bit of attention because, as you can see over on the Steam most wishlisted upcoming Steam games list, what a tongue twister, Assassin's Creed Shadows is currently sitting at number 65, which is pretty good. But funny enough, out of the millions and millions and millions of games that are on this platform and the thousands that can be wishlisted, Yasuke Simulator is actually sitting at number 1,143. So within the next 3 weeks leading up to its release, I think that it's probably going to end up getting over 1,000. I think it'll probably end up being like 700 or 800, but either way, gamers are taking this troll really seriously, and the journos are now freaking out over this. Here's a Game Rant hit piece. Bizarre Assassin's Creed Shadows parody game Yasuke Simulator appears on Steam. How dare gamers troll this multi-million-dollar company, guys? Yasuke Simulator, a parody game of Assassin's Creed Shadows, lets players control the samurai Yasuke with modern weapons and cars. Despite claiming to be totally historically accurate, the game is clearly comedic in nature, so they clearly do not even understand the point of this existing. Assassin's Creed Shadows was touted as being historically accurate, and there's like 20 different instances that we've pointed out where it is not historically accurate. So the point of this game is for it to be a totally historically accurate one when it isn't. Do these people not know what comedy is? A parody of Ubisoft's upcoming AC Shadows called Yasuke Simulator has recently appeared on Steam. This bizarre Steam title allows gamers to play as the famous African samurai featured in Shadows, but adds some comical elements to the gameplay, such as cars and firearms. How are they so confused by this? It has recently appeared on Steam, and it's a very bizarre title. Like, How are they just not understanding the concept here? Originally announced last year, Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the most controversial games in the franchise so far. Oh no, it is by far. The main controversy surrounding the game was the addition of Yasuke. The problem was not adding Yasuke himself, because he was a real living historical figure. The problem is the way that they have implemented him into this game. If you want the first playable historical figure to be in this game, that's fine, but you have to be extra careful about the way that you are portraying him. When there is a game with LGBTQ romances, and there's no evidence of the real living Yasuke being interested in LGBTQ romances, that is not okay. That is historically inaccurate. Of course, they have taken the information we have about him and blown it out of proportion, much like Hollywood has done several times now, and said that he was a full-blown samurai when he was really more of a retainer. They could have put him in this game perfectly fine if he was an NPC. If you, as a different character, let's say Noe, for example, went to him to talk to him and seek advice from him, then there would not be as much controversy surrounding him. The problem is when you are taking control of him and you can do all of these crazy things with him, like destroy shrines. Now, I don't think that doing things like destroying environments in a game is really that offensive, but I do know that other people find it offensive, which is why I've talked about it. Like the official shrine keepers are actually trying to get their landmark removed from the game right now after clips of it went viral on social media where you could destroy it. Again, I don't think that it's that big of a deal because it is in a video game. And it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go destroy this and then post it to their social media and be like, this is what I'm going to do in real life. No, of course not. It is a destroyable environment in a game. It's just that simple. But I'm also not going to diminish the fact that the people who are taking care of that shrine are pretty upset by it. And it's just another problem to add to the pile, but an unknown developer known as History Accurate Developers has unveiled Yasuke Simulator on Steam, a third-person action game that puts the players in the shoes of the Shadows protagonist Yasuke in 1579. The big twist, as shown in the trailer, is that instead of Yasuke only using traditional Japanese weapons such as katanas, he can also unlock weapons like rifles and ride modern cars. But then they go on to say that, oh, it's clearly a comedic tone and is playful with the historical controversy surrounding Ubisoft's game, as the developer states that it has done its research to provide a totally historically accurate depiction of the period. Graphics-wise, it does look a bit generic, with simple graphics that were partly made by AI, according to the developer. So this is one little hit piece. It's not as bad as some of the others because they do basically just say, it's very bizarre, but why are they so confused by it? Then you have the gamer who is saying it is a very, very blatant ripoff. They go on to talk about how those who have been crying about Assassin's Creed Shadows since it was revealed that Yasuke would be one of the player characters appear to think that this is a big own against Ubisoft, and while there is a chance that someone really went to this much effort to attack Assassin's Creed for featuring a black samurai, especially with the dog whistly dev name History Accurate Developers, it's not entirely clear what the joke is. After all, it just looks like any number of poorly thrown together ripoffs that appear on marketplaces. But if your idea of owning Ubisoft is to spend money on shovelware, be my guest, I suppose. First of all, again, you don't understand comedy because they said that Shadows was historically accurate when it clearly isn't, so that's part of the meme and the joke here. But second of all, if you as a journo are getting so offended for Ubisoft and you are so upset that you actually have to put out a full-blown hit piece on this game, how do you think the developers are feeling right now? You are not going to be able to tell me that the developers who have put hundreds to thousands of hours into developing this game aren't even just a little bit upset. And I'm sure that that is part of the goal here, is to piss off some of these these developers who do not care about what gamers actually want. If over the years they had listened to our feedback when it came to Shadows, they would be in a very different place at this point in time, but they've disregarded us at every possible chance, and people are sick and tired of that. So if putting together a little bit of a troll game is going to get our point across to at least a couple of developers, well, that's all that they probably really care about. And again, I'm not like affiliated with this game in any way, shape, or form. I've just been talking about it because I do think that it's funny, because if the journos are so upset, how do you think the developers feel? You've also got Games Radar saying a little bit of the same. I'm sorry to report that the discourse around Shadow's historical accuracy isn't over, as a parody game is launching on the very same day as Ubisoft's Japan set open world. This really just reads as another piece that is written specifically for the developers. Like, I'm so sorry they're making fun of your game still. I'm so sorry that somebody would dare to put out a parody game and release it on the same day as your title. Like, really? Do you have to be on your knees for these companies all of the time? My goodness, if you think that Shadows looks amazing, that's great. I hope you buy it. I hope you play it. I hope that you enjoy it. But also, clearly, people are very upset with Shadows and with Ubisoft, and if this is how they are going to voice it in a way that Ubisoft might understand, then I'm all for it. If companies actually discussed things with their audience, they wouldn't be in this position where gamers have to resort to making parody games and releasing them on the same day as their big AAA budgeted titles. If they didn't constantly block people and hide replies on social media, or they tried to have discussions with content creators with differing opinions or who have been critical of their products, we would not be in this position, but we are, because these companies don't care. And all of these outlets, of course, can shill for this game and shill for Ubisoft all they want, but at the end of the day, they're really just making themselves look even more pathetic, and it's just another reason to not trust video game journos. So right now, Yasuke Simulator is sitting at 1,143 on the most wishlisted list on Steam. This Yasuke Simulator is getting quite a bit of attention on social media, and it seems that the journos are just a little bit offended by this. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.